Our ancient past is a tapestry woven with many threads. Some threads are familiar. We know of the Neanderthals, our hardy cousins. We know of our direct ancestors, Homo sapiens, who eventually spread across the globe. But what if there were others? What if there were shadowy figures who walked the earth, leaving only faint traces? These are the Denisovans. They are a profound enigma. Their story is only now beginning to be pieced together. It challenges everything we thought we knew about human origins. Who were these mysterious people? The discovery of the Denisovans was almost accidental. It began not with a full skeleton, but with a fragment, a tiny piece of a finger bone unearthed in 2008 from the Denisova cave in Siberia's Altai Mountains. This cave, a silent witness to millennia of occupation, held a secret. Scientists initially thought the bone belonged to a Neanderthal, or perhaps an early modern human. The truth, however, was far more astonishing. This fragment would rewrite a significant chapter of our human story. It hinted at a population previously unknown to science, a third branch of the human family tree coexisting with our ancestors. What makes the Denisovans so captivating is their ghost-like presence in the archaeological record. We have so little of their physical remains, a few teeth, that finger bone, a piece of a skull, more recently a jawbone found far away in Tibet. Yet from these scant fragments a picture is emerging, a picture of a robust and widespread group of archaic humans. They were not mere brutes, they were adaptable, they were resilient, and they carried a genetic legacy that still lives within some of us today. Their story is a testament to the immense undiscovered depths of prehistory. These ancient humans inhabited vast swathes of Asia. They lived from the frigid Siberian plains to the high-altitude plateaus of Tibet. They endured ice ages. They witnessed dramatic changes in the world around them. For hundreds of thousands of years, they carved out an existence. Yet their story remained hidden, buried beneath layers of earth and time, until that tiny bone fragment spoke. It told us that our family tree was more complex, more intertwined than we had ever dared to imagine. The Denisovans are forcing us to ask new questions. They are forcing us to look again at the relics of our past. The true revelation of the Denisovans came not from their bones, but from their genes. Scientists extracted ancient DNA from that small finger bone. The results sent shockwaves through the world of paleoanthropology. The DNA was distinct. It was different from Neanderthal DNA. It was different from modern human DNA. It belonged to a previously unknown lineage. They called them Denisovans, after the cave where their first trace was found. This genetic material was a key, unlocking a hidden chapter of human evolution and interaction. This ancient DNA told a remarkable story of intermingling. It revealed that Denisovans had interbred with Neanderthals. They had also interbred with the ancestors of modern humans. Astonishingly, some present-day populations, particularly in Melanesia, Australia, and parts of Southeast Asia, carry significant Denisovan DNA. Up to 5 to 6% of their genome can be traced back to these enigmatic people. This is not just a curious footnote in our history. It suggests that these encounters were not fleeting. They were significant enough to leave a lasting imprint on our own genetic makeup. What did these encounters entail? Some researchers even suggest that certain Denisovan genes may have conferred advantages to modern humans. Genes related to the immune system, for instance, or genes that help people adapt to high altitudes like those found in modern Tibetans. Could it be that these ancient liaisons provided our ancestors with crucial genetic tools to survive in new and challenging environments? This raises profound questions. Were the Denisovans somehow more advanced in their adaptations? Did they possess a genetic robustness that benefited those who mixed with them? The term superiority is loaded, yet their genetic legacy hints at remarkable capabilities. The Denisovan genome also tells us about their population size and diversity. It seems they were never a hugely numerous group, at least not compared to modern humans, yet they persisted for an immense span of time. They were spread across diverse environments. This suggests a high degree of adaptability. Their DNA shows evidence of deep genetic diversity within their own population. This indicates a long history, stretching back perhaps hundreds of thousands of years before they finally vanished. Or did they truly vanish? Their genes live on, a silent testament to their existence and their contribution to humanity. The Denisova cave is a treasure trove. It doesn't just yield bones, it also yields artifacts. These artifacts paint a picture of the lives of those who sheltered there. Among the layers of sediment, archaeologists have found tools. And some of these tools are surprisingly advanced for their age. They are found in layers associated with Denisovans. This makes us wonder, what level of technological sophistication had these ancient people reached? Were they simply making crude stone implements, or was there something more to their material culture? The evidence points towards the latter. Consider the stone tools. Some are typical of the Middle Paleolithic period. These are tools like Mousterian points and scrapers. We associate these with Neanderthals, but then there are other more refined artifacts. These appear in layers dated to around 50,000 years ago, a time when Denisovans were present. We see evidence of techniques usually associated with the Upper Paleolithic. This is a period typically linked to the arrival of modern humans. We find microliths, small, finely crafted stone blades. These could be hafted onto spears or used as cutting implements. Their precision is remarkable. It's not just stone, there are bone tools as well. Highly polished bone points, even a bone needle complete with a carved eye for thread. A needle dated to around 50,000 years ago is an extraordinary find. It suggests the ability to sew, to create tailored clothing from animal hides. This would have been crucial for survival in the harsh Siberian climate. Such sophisticated tools imply a level of cognitive ability and manual dexterity that challenges old assumptions. It forces us to reconsider who was capable of what and when. The presence of these advanced tools in Denisovan layers is provocative. Did the Denisovans develop these technologies independently, or did they acquire them through contact with early modern humans? Or perhaps was it the other way around? Could the Denisovans have been the innovators? These questions remain open, but the tools themselves speak of a people who were not lagging behind. They were resourceful, they were intelligent, they were capable of complex behaviors and technological innovation. Their toolkit was one of ingenuity, not of primitive limitation. The evidence from Denisova cave hints at more than just practical skills. It suggests a nascent artistic sense, a desire for adornment. This is truly fascinating. We often reserve such cultural expressions for early modern humans. But the Denisovans may have had their own symbolic world. In the same layers where advanced tools were found, archaeologists discovered items of personal decoration. These are not mere trinkets, they are carefully crafted objects. They speak of a mind capable of abstract thought and aesthetic appreciation. What did these objects mean to them? One of the most stunning finds is a bracelet. Made from polished green chloritolite, a type of stone. It is exquisitely crafted. It has a hole drilled through it, likely for a cord. This bracelet has been dated to at least 40,000 years ago. Some estimates push it back even further, perhaps to 50,000 or 70,000 years. If Denisovans made this, it would be among the oldest known jewelry of its kind in the world. The skill required to shape and polish this hard stone is considerable. It implies patience, precision, and an eye for beauty. There are other items too, pendants made from animal teeth, beads crafted from ostrich eggshells. These finds suggest that Denisovans were not solely focused on survival. They had a cultural life, they adorned their bodies. Perhaps these items signified status, or group affiliation, or perhaps they had spiritual significance. We can only speculate. But the presence of such objects pushes the boundaries of what we attributed to archaic humans. It suggests a level of symbolic behavior that is deeply intriguing. This emerging picture of Denisovan culture is revolutionary. It means that complex thought, art, and symbolism were not exclusive to Homo sapiens. Our ancient cousins, the Denisovans and perhaps the Neanderthals too, were developing these traits. They were on a similar path. This shared capacity for symbolic expression makes the story of human evolution even richer. It also makes the eventual disappearance of the Denisovans as a distinct group even more poignant. What cultural knowledge, what artistic traditions were lost with them? We are only just beginning to glimpse their world. Section 5. The Jiahe jawbone, Denisovans beyond the Altai Mountains. For years, the Denisova cave in Siberia was the only place where physical Denisovan remains had been definitively identified. This led some to wonder, were they a localized phenomenon, confined to the Altai Mountains and its surroundings? Or did their territories stretch further? The genetic evidence showing Denisovan ancestry in people far from Siberia suggested a wider range. But physical proof was elusive until the discovery, or rather the re-identification, of the Xiahe jawbone. This changed the map of Denisovan existence dramatically. It showed they were far more widespread. The story of the Xiahe jawbone is itself remarkable. It was originally found in 1980 in Baixia Karst Cave. This cave is located in Jiahe County, on the Tibetan Plateau in China. A local monk reportedly found it. For decades, its significance was not fully understood. It was a robust human mandible, clearly ancient, but whose was it? It wasn't until 2019 that scientists were able to analyze proteins from its dentine. The results were astounding. The jawbone belonged to a Denisovan. This was the first time Denisovan remains were found outside of Denisova Cave. The Xiahe jawbone is dated to at least 160,000 years ago. This is significantly older than many of the finds from Denisova Cave. It tells us that Denisovans were present on the high-altitude Tibetan plateau long before modern humans are thought to have arrived there. This is a challenging environment. It is cold. Oxygen levels are low. To survive there requires specific adaptations. The jawbone itself is large and robust, with very large molars. This might suggest an adaptation to a tough diet, or simply reflect the general robustness of these ancient people. The discovery has profound implications. It confirms that Denisovans were not a marginal group. They were capable of colonizing and thriving in incredibly demanding landscapes. It also connects directly to modern genetic findings. We know that modern Tibetans carry a specific gene variant, EPAS1, that helps them cope with low oxygen levels. This gene variant is thought to have been inherited from Denisovans. The Xiahe jawbone provides the missing link. It places Denisovans in the right place at the right time to pass on this crucial adaptation. It's a stunning piece of the puzzle. Section 6. High-altitude living, a legacy of adaptation. The presence of Denisovans on the Tibetan plateau, as evidenced by the Xiahe jawbone, opens a fascinating chapter. It speaks of their incredible adaptability. The Tibetan Plateau is one of the harshest environments on Earth. It is often called the roof of the world. Living at altitudes above 4,000 meters presents enormous physiological challenges. Low oxygen levels or hypoxia can cause severe health problems. Extreme cold and limited food resources add to the difficulties, yet Denisovans were there. They were there 160,000 years ago. Long before Homo sapiens mastered such heights, how did they manage it? The answer likely lies in their genes. As we've seen, modern Tibetans possess a special version of the EPAS1 gene. This gene helps their bodies use oxygen more efficiently at high altitudes. It prevents the overproduction of red blood cells, a common and dangerous response to hypoxia. Genetic analysis has shown that this crucial EPAS1 variant is almost identical to one found in the Denisovan genome. This is strong evidence. It suggests that when modern humans arrived on the Tibetan plateau, they interbred with Denisovans already living there. This interbreeding passed on the vital adaptation. This is a powerful example of adaptive introgression. It means that advantageous genes from one human group were incorporated into another through interbreeding. In this case, Denisovans provided a genetic toolkit for high-altitude survival. Without it, the settlement of the Tibetan plateau by modern humans might have been much slower, or perhaps even impossible at that time. It highlights the complex web of interactions between different ancient human populations. We were not always in conflict. Sometimes we clearly benefited from mixing our gene pools. The implications of this are far-reaching. It suggests that Denisovans were not just surviving in these extreme environments, they were thriving. They had adapted over long periods. This deep adaptation would have involved more than just the EPAS1 gene. It would have encompassed a suite of physiological and perhaps even behavioral traits. It paints a picture of Denisovans as a hardy, resilient people. They were pioneers of some of the world's most challenging terrains. Their legacy of adaptation is still with us today, carried in the DNA of millions. Section 7. The enigma of elongated skulls, a Denisovan imprint. Now we venture into more speculative territory, but it is territory that fascinates many. Across the globe, from Peru to Egypt, from Malta to Russia, archaeologists have found elongated skulls. These are human skulls that appear to have been intentionally or perhaps naturally shaped into an elongated form. Mainstream archaeology often attributes this to cranial deformation. This is the practice of binding an infant's head to alter its shape. This was a known cultural practice in some societies. But are all elongated skulls explained this way? Could there be another layer to this mystery? Some researchers have proposed a more ancient, even genetic origin for some elongated skulls. They point to the unusual morphology. They question whether binding alone could achieve all the observed features. Could there have been an ancient human group that possessed naturally elongated heads? And if so, could this group have been the Denisovans? This is a bold hypothesis. It lacks direct proof. We have very few Denisovan skull fragments. The one piece we do have is unusually thick, but doesn't tell us about overall head shape, yet the idea persists. Why link Denisovans to elongated skulls? The connection is tenuous, based more on timing and mystery than on hard evidence. Denisovans were an ancient and widespread group. They possessed unique genetics. If they did have distinct physical traits, perhaps an elongated head shape was one of them. If so, could later cultural practices of head binding have been an attempt to emulate these revered ancestors? Or perhaps to emulate a ruling class that carried these Denisovan traits? This is pure speculation, of course, but it is the kind of question that arises when we deal with such an enigmatic people. The phenomenon of elongated skulls is often associated with high-status individuals, priests, rulers, or elites. If there was a Denisovan connection, it might imply that their descendants, or those who interbred with them, held positions of power or possessed special knowledge. This ties into broader theories of lost civilizations and forgotten wisdom. While we must be cautious not to leap to conclusions, the mystery of the elongated skulls and the mystery of the Denisovans do share a common thread. They both challenge our understanding of the human past. They both hint at complexities we're only beginning to unravel. Section 8. Whispers of Lost Worlds. Did Denisovans hold ancient keys? The story of the Denisovans intersects with another enduring theme, the possibility of lost, advanced civilizations. We know that our recorded history is just a tiny fraction of the human story. What happened in the vast stretches of prehistory before Sumer, before Egypt? Could there have been sophisticated societies that rose and fell, leaving only faint traces? And if such societies existed, could the Denisovans have been part of them, or perhaps even their progenitors? This moves us firmly into the realm of alternative history, but the questions are compelling. Consider the advanced tools and artistry found in Denisova cave, the polished bracelet, the bone needle. These items appear surprisingly early. They hint at capabilities beyond what we traditionally assign to archaic humans of that period. If Denisovans were capable of such fine craftsmanship 50,000 years ago or more, what else were they capable of? Did they possess knowledge that has since been lost? Knowledge of stoneworking, of astronomy, of navigation? We have no direct evidence for this. But the fragments we do have are tantalizing. They invite us to imagine. The genetic legacy of the Denisovans is also intriguing in this context. They interbred with modern humans across a vast geographical area. They contributed genes that helped us adapt. Could they also have contributed cultural knowledge, ideas, technologies? Such transmissions are harder to trace than genes, but it's a possibility worth considering. If the Denisovans were indeed more widespread and more advanced than we currently believe, their influence could have been profound. Perhaps some of the unexplained megalithic structures or the sudden bursts of technological advancement in prehistory have a Denisovan echo. This is not to say that Denisovans built pyramids or flew ancient aircraft. Such claims are unsupported, but we should be open to the idea that they were more than just primitive cave dwellers. They were a long-lived, adaptable, and potentially innovative branch of humanity. Their world was rich and complex. As we uncover more about them, we may find that they hold keys to understanding forgotten chapters of our own past. Perhaps the whispers of lost worlds are not entirely fantasy. Perhaps they are echoes of real people, like the Denisovans, whose full story is yet to be told. Section 9. Recalibrating History, the Enduring Denisovan Puzzle. The discovery of the Denisovans has been a profound shock to the system of paleoanthropology. It has forced us to redraw the human family tree. It has revealed a world where multiple human species coexisted, interacted, and interbred. This is a far cry from the linear, progressive model of human evolution that was once dominant. The Denisovans show us that our past was much messier, much more complex, and ultimately much more interesting. Their existence challenges us to rethink fundamental questions about who we are and where we come from. The research into Denisovans is ongoing. Every new find, every new genetic analysis adds another piece to the puzzle. We are still learning about their geographic range. Their physical appearance remains largely unknown. Their cultural capabilities are only hinted at by the artifacts from Denisova cave and the implications of the Jiahe jawbone. Many questions remain unanswered. How did they interact with Neanderthals and early modern humans on a daily basis? What led to their eventual disappearance as a distinct group, even as their genes lived on? The significance of Denisovan research extends beyond academic circles. It touches on our very definition of humanity. It shows that traits we once considered uniquely modern humans, such as complex tool use, artistry, and adaptation to extreme environments, may have been shared with other hominin groups. This blurs the lines. It makes us appreciate the deep connections we have to these ancient peoples. Their story is part of our story. Their legacy is woven into our DNA and perhaps into the foundations of our earliest cultures. The Denisovans remain an enigma, but they are an enigma that is slowly yielding its secrets. As we continue to explore the caves, analyze the genomes, and piece together the fragments, we are not just learning about them, we are learning about ourselves. They remind us that history is not a closed book. There are still vast, unexplored territories. There are still discoveries waiting to be made that could once again recalibrate our understanding of the human journey. The Denisovan puzzle is far from complete. And that is what makes it so utterly fascinating. They are a testament to the deep, often surprising story of life on Earth.